today. We know you guys like to see the most expensive and ludicrous things only billionaires can enjoy. So we're bringing you today the most expensive homes in Europe. Some are for sale, some aren't. This list today includes Western countries like France, Italy, or the UK, and the most luxurious estates you can find on the continent. These houses we're about to rank here are highly luxurious penthouses, old castles, and holiday mansions that were once owned by kings and famous deceased billionaires. Although the housing market right now in Europe is rising almost 5%, rich people still have a big interest in estates all over the continent for both professional and personal use. If you've bought a new house or are planning to, have a look at these following homes and maybe you'll find some inspiration for your own house. It's always good to keep an eye on the billionaires and remember to buy investment pieces that will only grow in value over time, because if you ever need money, you can sell them for twice the price or even more. With that being said, let's see how much it costs to buy a cozy yet luxurious nest in Europe. If you're new here, welcome. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at Alux. Number 10. Franschhoek Villa, UK. Price $161 million. London is the perfect city for architecture lovers and bloggers. There are so many beautiful houses, especially in the central neighborhoods, that it's almost impossible to choose just one that you like. Good news, the perfect villa exists in real life, and it's the Franschhoek Villa in central London. This mega house is a 10-bedroom and 5-floor Victorian-style estate that's equipped with a private cinema, a panic room, underground indoor swimming pool, and a gym with all the facilities. The house belongs to Elena Franschhoek, the daughter of former Ukrainian president and wife of oligarch Viktor Pinchuk. At $161 million, it's for sure one of the most expensive homes in the UK and in Europe. She bought the mansion back in 2006, and prior to that, it used to be a girls' prep school until 1997. The house has a lot of history and a mix of relatively modern interior designs, pops of color, and classic pieces covered in marble, gold, and expensive artwork, as you would expect for such an important figure. Number 9. St. Moritz Resort House, Switzerland. Price $185 million. Moving on with a beautiful resort home in the luxurious ski town of St. Moritz in Switzerland, a country that's notorious for being expensive and exclusive. Only the rich come here to stay and enjoy New Year's Eve, and for those who are in love with the breathtaking landscapes of the Alps, there is a cozy and luxurious nest built just for billionaires. The mansion is worth $185 million, and it's said to be the most expensive house in the country. At the moment, it's owned by an unnamed billionaire, and he gets to enjoy 24-karat gold walls, 35-foot-long wide windows with views of the Swiss Alps, mink fur and velvety red walls, as well as a theater, a spa, and a wine cellar. This mega house has 7 floors, a private lift to the ski slopes, and the most amazing thing ever, an underground lake. This is how every ski holiday should look like. Number 8. One Hyde Park Penthouse, UK. Price $227 million. Only people that live in London or have visited the city know how crazy expensive it is. Housing, transportation, food, utilities, everything is either overpriced or suited only for the royal family and their friends. London is full of rich people, and as you would expect, they live in the most expensive and luxurious houses. One of the most expensive penthouses in Europe is located in the middle of London near Hyde Park. It's called One Hyde Park Penthouse, and for just one apartment, it was sold for $227 million. Only the richest Russians and Arab sheikhs afford to live in this area, and just as you would imagine, their apartments are full of luxury amenities. The 2-floor penthouse has a pool, wide floor-to-ceiling windows, SAS-trained security guards, a McLaren showroom downstairs, as well as a secret tunnel to the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, where you can go have dinner at their restaurant. It sure is a lot of money for an apartment, but it's the price you have to pay if you want to live in the most expensive residential area in the world. Number 7. Kensington Palace, UK. $230 million. Another huge and expensive house, or castle if you want to call it, is Kensington Palace, the place where the royal family resides. They've been living there since the 17th century, and currently it's the official London residence of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Duke and Duchess of Sussex, as well as Princess Eugenie of York, the Duke and Duchess of Gloucester, the Duke and Duchess of Kent, and Prince and Princess Michael of Kent. It was also the place where Princess Diana and Prince Charles lived until her death, and was the home of Prince William and Harry. The palace was first bought by King William II and his queen Mary II, and they paid roughly £20,000 at the time, now being worth around $230 million. Since then, a lot of renovations have been done to the palace and staterooms, and now historic parts of the palace are open for tourists to visit. If you're ever in London, Kensington Palace is definitely a tourist attraction you need to visit if you want to see how the royal family lives and some personal objects or art they own. Number 6. Chateau Louis XIV in France. Price $300 million. Moving on to France, we settle into the most expensive castle in the country. The Louis XIV chateau from the 17th century is worth $300 million, and it was acquired by the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who has multiple million-dollar estates in his portfolio and a fortune of $10 billion. The castle has been recently renovated, and it now has fountains that can be controlled from an iPhone, a cinema, a maze, and a luxurious swimming pool. The whole property has 57 acres, and it seems to be a part of a chain of luxurious purchases the prince has made recently, including a $450 million Leonardo da Vinci painting and a $500 million yacht. Although the castle is said to be from the 17th century, it was in fact rebuilt over an older castle's ruins, so it's not the original structure, but it's indeed lavish and looks like a modern version of a 17th century castle. However, the prince doesn't seem to be bothered by this little detail. Number 5. Odeon Tower Sky Penthouse, Monaco. Price $400 million. As you would expect, apartments and houses in Monaco are among the most expensive estates in the world. This small city-state is the home of the most extravagant billionaires in the world, because it's tax-free, of course. To give you guys a little context, Lewis Hamilton, Novak Djokovic, and Bill Gates are residents among other billionaires. This exclusive penthouse, fitted for the most pretentious billionaires, could become one of the world's most expensive properties per square meter. The 170-meter building has one of the most expensive penthouses in the world, with a price tag of $400 million. What do you get for that money? A 16-meter-high wide apartment with a direct slide into a rooftop pool looking over the Mediterranean Sea and all the facilities of a 5-star hotel. This penthouse is now more expensive than the One Hyde Park penthouse in London. Other apartments in the tower are set to have a starting price of $25 million. Although the tower has had some setbacks and critics because it's too tall and modern for the area, it was successfully inaugurated in April of 2015. On the same topic, if you're interested in more expensive penthouses, check out our video where we rank the most expensive penthouses in the world. Just click in the top right corner to check it out. Number 4. Rafiq Hariri's London Mansion, UK. Price $400 million. Back in London once again, we find another house that's even more expensive than Kensington Palace. It used to be the home for the late Lebanese Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri, and then it was gifted to Sultan bin Abdulaziz, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Currently, the house is up for sale for $400 million, and if the owners don't find a buyer, they plan to sell all the furniture and luxury items worth over £50 million at an auction. The huge 45-bedroom mansion has a large swimming pool, industrial-sized catering kitchen, underground parking, and several lifts. The rooms are fitted with expensive artworks, beautifully French-styled custom-made furniture, and in the bathrooms there are golden tissue boxes. It's a big splurge, but there's said to be a few billionaires interested in it. In fact, sources say the Qatar embassy is actually interested. The house has had some controversial owners, but it's a huge estate located in central London, making it a great investment. Number 3. Villa Les Cèdres, France. $410 million. Next, we have a 187-year-old villa in the south of France. We're talking about Villa Les Cèdres, Cedar Trees Villa. That's the second most expensive house in France. The interior seems to be a true depiction of Queen Marie Antoinette's taste and is set to be worth $410 million. Now owned by a wealthy Italian, Luca Garavoglia, the chairman of David Campari Milano Spa. The house used to belong to the late King Leopold II of Belgium, who built it using his profits from the land grabs in Congo and slavery. The villa is now up for sale in what will be the most expensive residential sale in the history of the country. The home has 18,000 square feet and has 14 bedrooms, with impeccable French-styled furniture, crystal chandeliers, and marble statues. Lavish French balconies, a garden full of palm trees and cedar trees that will make you feel like you're in a jungle when you first enter the garden. But then just gaze out over the view of France's Côte d'Azur and it all goes away. Words just can't describe how beautiful this villa is. But really, who's going to buy it? It was built with blood money. Number 2. Villa Leopolda, French Riviera. Price, $736 million. Another mansion in the French Riviera, and the second most expensive home on this list, is Villa Leopolda. The famous villa was built almost 100 years ago by an American architect, and it's now owned by the controversial 83-year-old Lily Safra, who made her fortune through her 4 marriages. #gold digger. The villa was decorated by Lily and her husband and portrays the Belle Epoque style and is now a French historical monument. In spite of all the luxurious furniture and artwork that resides within the villa, there are reasons why it's so popular and expensive. The Safra husbands used to throw lavish parties where only the rich had access, and later the house was used as a movie set for Alfred Hitchcock's movie To Catch a Thief. And since it was built over the remains of a previous home owned by King Leopold II of Belgium, this villa has more history in 100 years than your history book. During World War I, it was even used as a military hospital, and it's now the most expensive house in France, estimated to be worth $736 million. There were a few buyers interested in it, but Lily Safra is not selling. Number 1. Buckingham Palace. Price, $1.5 billion. At last, the cherry on top, the most expensive house in Europe. It's not a penthouse or a villa, it's a palace, and it's the famous Buckingham Palace, home to Queen Elizabeth of England. The palace is also the office of Queen Elizabeth and the place where most major events and receptions are held. A small part of the palace is open for tourists every summer, although the people are more curious to see the guards change and the lavish gardens. The entire palace has 775 rooms, 19 staterooms, 52 royal and guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, 92 offices, and 78 bathrooms, and a few balconies. The huge palace has a lot of meaning and importance for the royal family and the UK itself. It's said to be worth $1.5 billion and is one of the most visited sites in London. Since it's administered by the royal family, you can just imagine all the finest furniture and artworks decorating the palace. Artists like Rubens or Rembrandt hang on the lavish walls of the palace that was built by John Nash, an architect that got a little carried away and went way over the initial budget. And just a quick tip, if you're visiting the palace and hope to see the Queen herself around there, which is highly improbable, take a look at the Union flag. If it's flying over the palace, she's not at home. Well, A-Luxers, that's a wrap on the most expensive homes in Europe. We have to admit, there's no greater feeling than coming back home, the place you love the most. But of course, it's not the same without having people that you love waiting for you, because not all houses are actually a home. And since some people have multiple homes, we're curious to find out, where in this world do you feel like you're at home? Is it another city, at sea, or at your grandparents' house? Let us know what you think in the comments. And for being a true A-Luxer and staying with us all the way to the end, you get a bonus. Here it is. King's Landing, Croatia. The most famous castle everyone has seen in the last 5 years is King's Landing from the Game of Thrones TV show. The famous series is one of the most loved and streamed shows in the history of television. Inspired by the books written by George R.R. Martin, the show, produced by HBO, was filmed all over the world, But King's Landing, the famous castle from Westeros, can be admired in real life because it's located in Dubrovnik, Croatia. Although in the first season they filmed the outside of the castle in Malta, starting in season 2, they moved to Dubrovnik. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxer. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. If you want more, we handpicked these videos you might enjoy, or head over to alux.com for the best in fine living content on the planet. Be a part of the largest community of luxury enthusiasts in the world and tell your story.